In 1976, Harry and Marion moved back to Brisbane. Marion became pregnant with Tempest, and Harry took a job as a prison coordinator for the Brisbane Correctional Centre. At that point, he didn't necessarily want to be a corrections officer, he just wanted to support his family. Marion said that because of the kind of man he was, kind-hearted and fair, the job suited him perfectly. Susie was born in 1977 and John in 78, cousins and neighbours to the Smiths. Tempest remembers playing in the yard with her cousins, who were like siblings. John remembers the time they dug a big hole in the backyard and Harry drove his tractor lawnmower into it, not knowing that the hole was there and they had to pull the tractor lawnmower out. Marion said Harry had the patience of a saint with the kids, both their own and the neighbourhood kids. In the autumn-winter months, the trees on their property would shed tons and tons of leaves. The kids would come to rake, but end up jumping and playing in all the piles. Harry would say nothing and the next day clean the leaves of property. During this time, Harry also went to college in the QUT and worked full-time while attending school full-time. John says his uncle would lock himself in the bedroom to study. Marion remembers how Harry struggled with English and she helped him. As was consistent with his dedicated personality, Harry persevered and received his 3-year degree with honours. Harry eventually grew tired of living in the city suburbs, and so in 1985 they moved to the Sunshine Coast, where he purchased 5 acres of land. Marion said that Harry was in his glory there. He had a huge vegetable garden, and as usual his goal to remodel one room turned into remodelling the entire house. Harry loved to build and was very handy. This is the spot that Harry fell in love with deep sea fishing and met the other love of his life, his best mate Franco. In 1989, he was hired as a federal police officer at the Roosevelt Police Headquarters. In recent years, Harry became deeply interested in his genealogy. He was fiercely proud of his Scottish heritage, says cousin Ellen. Harry and Marion travelled often. Their road trips usually included a stop at the National Archives or stopping to visit a distant relative that they discovered through his research. In his leisure time, Harry could be found working on the building project of some sort, playing with his grandchildren, Zale, Dylan, Kai and Fletcher, who he adored. Or Harold could be easily found curled up on his favourite green leather chair, watching the John Wayne movies. He loved John Wayne. He had a whole collection of movies on VHS. It was a running joke that he was probably the only person in the whole town who had VHS tapes and watched them. Harry's most favourite of all time would be researching his next fishing spot with Franco. They would spend hours bobbing up and down in the great oceans, constantly dropping a line in hope to capture another legendary marlin like that good old faithful day. At 10 a.m. on March the 4th, 2018, Harry Smith passed away from heart failure with his co-owned vessel, Sweet Mary, held in the arms of his true blue best friend Franco. Harry's wife said she kissed him goodbye as she always did, and said, "Love you, girls." He was in his happiest place with his best friend, who held until the end. Harry's daughter Tempest will now speak. Thank you, Tempest. We now welcome the flower ceremony with the children of the Smith family. Harry's grandchildren, Zale, Dylan, Kai and Fletcher will now come up and each place a flower in this vase. In thanks for all the giddy-up brides, comfy naps on the couch they shared with his grandpa. We will now take a few moments in silence to hold Harry in our hearts and reflect upon how he touched us personally. This is also a time to pray, if you choose. We mourn the loss of a good husband, a father, a grandfather, father-in-law, son-in-law, and a friend. There is a sense of unfairness that Harry's life would just end a couple of years before his retirement, where he had many plans for. We mourn his dreams that it will never be fulfilled. An old proverb said that life is short but wide. Harry's life may have been shorter than we hoped it would be, but it was crafted meticulously with his own hands and filled wide with many, many happy moments spent with his family, whom he deeply loved. In the words of Tibetan monk Thich Nhat Hanh, our true home is in the present moment. To live in the present moment is a miracle. The miracle is not to walk on water, the miracle is to walk on the green earth. In the present moment, to appreciate the peace and beauty that are available now. Peace is all around us and in nature and within us, in our bodies and in our spirits. Once we learn to touch this peace, we will be healed and transformed. It's not a matter of faith, it's a matter of practice. We are not meant to avoid life in fear of death. We are meant to live each moment fully, to connect with our environment and the people in our lives, to share the best of our lives generously, to have courage to do what needs to be done, and to practice our deepest convictions. Thus, in the end, whenever our time may come, we can face it with peace, satisfied in our hearts that we were human and we really, really lived. For the committal, we welcome Harry's son to read a poem called Indian Prayer. We leave Harry in peace and bid him a loving farewell, as he befits a warrior Scotsman. It was Harry's wish that bagpipers play. As we leave, we shall listen in honour of him. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes our tribute.